When we retired and decided to travel the world, we spent months planning where we wanted to go. We researched apartments, flights, restaurants, things to do, but we forgot to plan for something much more important. Hopefully, you'll never need this information, but if you do, you'll be glad you planned ahead.
Yep. So what happens if something goes wrong? What if one of you guys ends up in the hospital? What if your passports are stolen? You lose access to your money? Or even worse, what if one of us dies while we're traveling overseas? These are not fun topics to think about or to talk about, but they're incredibly important. So today we're going to share with you the emergency plan that we've put together and the steps I believe retirees and travelers should take before leaving home.
Hi, we're Josh and Petra, early retirees traveling the world slowly while sharing honest insights about retirement and life on the road. Join us and share in the journey. Most people spend months planning their vacation. Almost no one spends an afternoon planning for an emergency. The truth is, emergencies don't wait until you're home. They happen while you're walking through Rome, riding a train in Spain, hiking in Portugal, or relaxing on a beach in Greece. A little preparation today can make an overwhelming situation much easier for you and for your family.
So one of the easiest things you can do is to make copies of a lot of different paperwork, such as your passport, your driver's license, health insurance cards, or policy numbers, your travel insurance information, credit cards, both front and back, any visa documents, and emergency contacts. And you want to keep those in a secure place. So you can keep a copy of all these, like a digital copy, and secure it in the cloud. You can have an encrypted copy and secure online. Also have a paper copy that is separate from the originals. So if your passport is stolen, having a copy makes replacing it much easier, for an example.
Just remember ICE in case of emergency. Your phone should contain emergency contacts labeled ICE or emergency contacts. Also, carry a printed emergency contact card in your wallet because first responders may not be able to unlock your phone. You want to include information on your spouse, adult children, a physician, an attorney, travel companion, insurance company, the embassy or consulate contact information for your home country. And if you're traveling alone, this becomes even more important.
Yeah. So you want to make sure you have appropriate travel insurance that actually matches the kind of trip that you're taking. And we did a video, annual versus single trip insurance video several months back. So you can go take a look at that. We'll also link it in the description. Because travel insurance isn't really just about canceled flights. You want to look for policies that include like emergency medical care, emergency medical evacuations, trip interruption, baggage loss, reparations of remains, 24-hour emergency assistance. So you want to make sure that you're reading the policy before you travel so you understand what is covered, what are the exclusions, and how to contact the emergency assistance team if you need them.
Don't disappear for 6 months. Leave someone you trust with your itinerary, copies of your passport, emergency contacts, travel insurance information, where you're staying, and your flight information. And if your plans change, send a quick update.
Yeah. Now we keep a Google spreadsheet with that information. And what's nice about that type of document is that you can share that with whoever. And as you're making changes, you don't necessarily have to send an update all the time because they have access to that document and they can see those changes.
They can go, whenever they go in, they will see whatever the current information is.
Yeah, where we're staying, the dates, flight information. We have, like we talked about, digital copies of passports and driver's license and things like that. So when they have access to that whole folder, they have access to everything. Right? Something else, we're going to go ahead and kind of move on to money, where you can keep emergency money, because you never want to rely on just one wallet, one debit, or even one credit card.
Yeah.
So you'll want to have at least 2 credit cards, because when you're traveling, something could happen to one of those cards. And then what?
Yeah.
Depending on who your credit card is through, they may or may not be able to send you a replacement card. So you need to have a backup card. Also, the same with 2 debit cards. If something happens to mine, he's got his, right? You'll also want to make sure you have at least a small amount of the local currency, and some emergent, like US dollars or other kind of widely accepted currency, if appropriate for your itinerary. So we had gone to, example, we had gone to Turkey. We took out money in the local currency. They gave us a whole bunch of money in like small bills. We won't be back to Turkey for a while. So we thought, okay, let's just go to an exchange place. But because Turkish lira is not considered widely accepted, we couldn't exchange that in.
Yeah. Meanwhile, euros. We're in Europe. A lot of countries are using euros. So euros are a good backup plan.
US dollars and the local currency is from what we found. And when you're storing this stuff, store them separately. Because if something happens to your wallet, like there's a pickpocket and your wallet is stolen, at least you'll still have access to money. So you might take one credit card with you, some, like I said, some local money, but keep the other ones maybe back in a safe place wherever you're staying. Like if you're in a hotel, the safe, or another safe location if you're in an apartment.
So before arriving in a new country, you want to learn the local emergency number, where the nearest hospital is, where urgent care clinics are located, where English-speaking doctors can be found if needed, how to contact your travel insurer's assistance line, and you don't need to memorize everything, just know where to find it. And when we were talking about, for instance, on a Google Doc, that's a great place to locate all of that because, as she mentioned, it's out there in the Ethernet and anybody can access it later. And if you're sharing it with family, then that's a great place.
Well, not anybody can access it.
Well, no, but whoever you share it with can access it.
And generally speaking, you can download, like we have the Google apps downloaded on our phone. So if needed, we're out and about and they're like, what's your insurance policy number? We can easily go to our phone, pull up that information from our Google Drive, and there it is. You may also want to consider creating a legacy binder. So this is something that we've talked about, or I should say that we're going to talk about a little bit more in some future videos. But a legacy binder includes like your financial accounts, insurance policies, estate documents, emergency contacts, passwords to anything that you need to get to online, an attorney information, any healthcare documents. Because if something happened to like one of us tomorrow, then at least our family would have access to that information. And that from recent experience, having that information that's easily accessible to them is actually one of the best gifts that you can give somebody if, again, something happens to one or both of us and somebody else needs to get that information. They'll know exactly where to go, who to contact, passwords, all that information.
So nobody wants to think about dying while traveling. I mean, we're living, right? We're not dying, we're living, we're getting out to live. But avoiding the conversation doesn't protect your family. So you always want to make sure you have a current will or trust if appropriate, updated beneficiary designations, powers of attorney, advance directives, clear funeral or cremation wishes, instructions for what should happen if you die abroad. And remember, your bank won't contact your family. Your investment company won't automatically know who to call. Your loved ones need to know where your information is and who they can contact.
Yep. So our personal emergency routine. So every time we're going to a new country, which, we just started. So, sharing, making sure our family knows where we're going to be at. We do that by updating our itinerary. If it's not already provided to us, knowing how to contact the local ambulance or hospitals. We've stayed in an Airbnb that provided that very easily. We're at a hotel right now. Currently, we don't have that information provided to us by the hotel. So it's something that, we seek out. We can try to confirm that our phones are working, although it seems like right now they're kind of going in and out of service even while we're connected. But more importantly, making sure that we both know our important documents are stored. And we know that this isn't exciting stuff to do, but it will help you have peace of mind and relax knowing that we're prepared if something unexpected happens.
Absolutely. Much more fun when all the unknowns are rooted out and solved ahead of time.
Yep. So if you can just take even 10 to 15 minutes of your trip just to kind of orient, okay, do we know this contact information and ambulance? And quite honestly, recently, we haven't done a video on it yet, but it is on our plans about the healthcare system when we were in Albania, because I did have to go to the hospital. So one of the greatest freedoms of retirement is the ability to explore the world. But there is responsibility that comes with that freedom. Preparing for emergencies doesn't mean you're expecting something to happen. It simply means that you're taking care of yourself and the people who you love. The best emergency plan is the one that you never have to use. But if you do, you will be thankful that you took the time to prepare.
If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Every week we share practical advice about retiring early, slow traveling the world, budgeting, and living abroad, so you can travel with confidence. And let us know in the comments, what's one emergency preparation tip you never travel without?
So thank you guys for watching, and remember to dream big,
plan smart,
and go explore.
Ciao.